Alcatraz, an impregnable prison camp surrounded by miles of the most deadly parts of Florida. Poisonous snakes, fierce and hungry alligators, miles of unmapped swamps, storms, hurricanes, fierce heat. No one's getting out of Alligator Alcatraz. The people in Alligator Alcatraz are subhumans, the worst of the worst. Alligator Alcatraz is going to teach these criminals a lesson. If you're upset by Alligator Alcatraz, just wait. Because when the Trump era ends, we're keeping it open for the corrupt crypto scammers like Don Jr. who cashed in on the presidency. Keeping it open for folks like Stephen Miller, Kristi Noem, and Tom Homan, who ignore the law, ignore court orders, and deploy masked cops in warrantless raids. We're even keeping it open for the state and federal agents who abuse their power. You built this, MAGA, and some of you will enjoy the view from inside the wire.
They can't call it a concentration camp because then they'll have to admit to themselves that they voted for the guy that built the concentration camp. So they spruce it up, create some merchandise like that's a totally normal thing to do for a prison. It's not. And then they'll use the same talking points that the Bush administration used back in the early 2000s. That's a hard pill to swallow for a lot of people, so most of them just ignore it. It's our job to make sure that...
Good Sunday. Good Sunday. It's Van Silk with the Black Culture News Network. Last night, I was just going through some things, watching video clips, and we're living in terrible times right now. I live here in Florida, on the west coast, Gulf of Mexico side. Yes, Gulf of Mexico. But what I want to say is that this concentration camp, they want to call Alligator Alcatraz, it's inhumane, number one. Number two, it's un-American. But this is what a lot of y'all voted for. I seen some Republicans made a statement that, hey, I toured the facility and it looks pretty good to me. You know, even the bed looks more comfortable than the bed in my home. Then why don't you and a few of your Republican buddies, in the same condition that these so-called criminals and migrants are staying in, why don't you come and stay there for a week under the same condition? But you know, they deny the Democrats, would they have the right in their district to come there whenever? But they had to make an appointment. And it took ABC, the local ABC News was able to get an interview before the Democrats, who were lawmakers, were to get in. And you know what they did? They did their best to make it look good because they know they was being checked upon. This is in the Everglades. It flooded. Got 32 people in the cage. You got U.S.-born citizens locked up because of the color of their skin. Lori Loomer made a statement about there's 65 million meals for alligators. That's how many Latinos is in America, 65 million. Let's not forget what they used to do to our young black babies, to feed them to alligators. The Lincoln Project has a great video. You don't need to watch that video because it has to come true. The Supreme Court they're not obeying the Supreme Court. They're not. They just not going to listen to the Supreme Court. They're going to do what they want to do because they think what they're doing is right. You have Pam Bondi, who's just as crooked as she can be. She talked to 5 other governors about opening up. They want to call these detention centers. No, they concentration camp. The way y'all got them, you know what they are. Y'all know what you're doing, and they got to be Republican governors that would allow something like this to happen. I'd like to know what 5 states they are. But see, we such a long way off from the midterms for next November, and between now and then, this man is going to just disintegrate everything. Definitely don't want to talk about the Jeffrey Epstein files and tapes. Why didn't the Biden administration release them? Why? Because they have better things to do. You want to release JFK, Martin Luther King, but you want to put the Jeffrey Epstein along with it, and then they come to find out there's a lot of people involved with the possibility of you. We all know that you were in there. Elon Musk already said you part of it. But this is what we face with when you want to have a dictator in office. And for all you people that voted for him, he didn't care. The man told you, he don't care about you, all he wanted was your vote. And you gave it to him. Because you only want a black woman in the office. Why don't you just be honest and say that? I want you to check out some of the video clips that I put together on what's going on in this concentration camp that they call Alligator Alcatraz, because you could be detained there just by the color of your skin. No one is safe. Trust me. Check everything out and you'll have a blessed day.
Let's be clear, throughout this entire tour, it was repeated over and over that the state is working hand in glove with ICE. This facility was inspected by ICE. They review their detention standards. They are using cages. These detainees are living in cages. The pictures that you've seen don't do it justice. They are essentially packed into cages, wall-to-wall humans, 32 detainees per cage. That is the only thing inside those cages are their bunk beds, and there are 3 tiny toilets that are toilet units that have a sink attached to it. So they essentially drink, they get their drinking water and they brush their teeth, where they poop in the same unit. They bragged that they went above standards, supposedly, and gave them a 3-foot privacy wall that stretches the length inside the 32 detainee cage, a 3-foot privacy wall that stretches the length of the 3 toilets in a row. The showers provide no privacy at all. There are no curtains on it. It's a big open shower unit. There are, small walls in each shower, but we're talking about all 900 men who are held in this facility. It is built currently for 1,000, and they have no privacy at all when they're showering. For meals, when we walked through the quote-unquote meal prep area, the kitchen area, for lack of a better term, they had the portions that were available for detainees, and they had the portions that were available for employees being prepared at the same time. The portions available for employees, large pieces of roast chicken, large sausages, and the detainees' lunches were a small, gray turkey and cheese sandwich, an apple, and chips, and that's it. We're talking about fully grown men being fed very small portions.
Humans being held in cages. You heard it from Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz. 32 people per cage. 3 toilets in each cage for these 32 people, and their drinking water comes from the toilet. People are on the toilet, you can't drink water. What we also heard, there was so much ambiguity on under what authority people are being held here, and whether this is a state facility or a federal facility. They kept state legislators out, trying to claim it's a federal facility. Then perhaps they would try to keep us out today if it came unannounced, saying it's a state facility. And what we heard very clear is ICE is giving them the directions from A to Z, where they put the beds, how everything is meant to be. So this is much like Baker in North Florida, where you have the state running this facility, but ICE is calling the shots. It is a federal detention facility, which means, and I'm really glad we were able to get this ironed out here, it means members of Congress are able to come here unannounced.
That's right.
And we will come here unannounced. Because, of course, like I said earlier today, a clean cage is still a cage.
That's right.
And they couldn't even keep this clean. I'll tell you, we couldn't even see the actual toilets that the detainees are using. Some of the biggest complaints we've heard is, yes, there's 3 toilets, but a lot of the time, only one is working. And they get backed up, feces being spread everywhere. And I asked them, I want to come in and I want to see the toilets. They said, we'll show you the toilets of a new unit that no one's in yet. That's not what I wanted to see. We wanted to see how it is right now, and we were unallowed to do it. Which means even with this invitation, so much was kept from us. We weren't able to see the medical facilities. They cited visits and been able to see the medical units. And why seeing the medical units are important is, of course, we want to know that the standard is high in case someone is having an issue, but also in many of these facilities, the segregation units and the isolation units are often the same units used for medical as well. We were unable to see those. Not just that, I also want to make sure I say this. There are so many attorneys across the country and across the state who have no idea how they can set up the appointments with the people that they're representing. I was given an email. It is legal@privacy6.com. They say if you email that, you'll be able to come here and see the person you're representing. That's what I was told by one of the head folks here. So again, that is legal@privacy6.com. 2 other quick things. The other thing I want to bring up is this place is loaded with third-party private security officers. This is not completely being run by federal agents or federal officers, not even state folks. Most of them are around the perimeter. When we went inside of the cage area, it was mainly private security company folks. Not any different than you'd find if you went to a concert or you went to a sporting game. The last thing I want to say is every Floridian should be ashamed that our taxpayer money is being used to put people in these cages.
Right.
That our taxpayer money is being used as we're coming into hurricane season. It's being used for this. As we have homeless people sleeping on the streets, as rent is so damn high in this country, it's being used for that. And to what Ron DeSantis said when he said, oh, I've never seen Democrats fight hard for people in the United States, they fight harder for immigrants or this and that. Number one, immigrants don't poison the blood of this nation. They are the blood of this nation. The other thing I'll say is don't lecture us on fighting on behalf of our constituents and Americans when you applauded a bill that just got passed that'll rip away the health care of 2 million Floridians. Right. Don't lecture us when you were goading on and saying you love a bill that's going to rip the food out of the mouths of children, that's going to give $150 billion to ICE to go to our communities, terrorize our people, throw them in cages, never to be seen again. It is something everyone, whether you're Democrat, Republican, or anything, should be deeply ashamed of. The work is not done here. We came here to do this, but we will be
People are now starting to boycott companies that they see driving to Alligator Alcatraz in Florida and doing business with them. Ever since Alligator Alcatraz opened in Florida, there have been multiple companies coming in to do business or bring deliveries, and people have started to stand outside Alligator Alcatraz and take pictures of trucks and other vehicles and tell people to boycott those companies. Multiple companies like this trucking company right here has put tape and images over their logo so people are not able to report them. This recycling truck right here was also there doing business as a recycling truck and had to cover up their numbers and their name so people would not know they were working with Alligator Alcatraz. People in and around Florida have started to sell Alligator Alcatraz merch online, like this one saying, "Bring on gator bait, Alligator Alcatraz," which has caused other people like this to say, "I am reporting each and every vendor for selling Alligator Alcatraz merch on Etsy. It clearly violates their policy prohibiting the promotion of hate."
In case anybody was wondering,
some of those that work forces are the same that burn crosses. Some of those that work forces are the same that burn crosses. Some of those that work forces are the same that burn crosses. Some of those that work forces are the same that burn crosses. Killing in the name of. Killing in the name of.
Laura Loomer said that the 65 million Latinos in this country should be food for alligators. Never forget that Laura Loomer said that Alligator Alcatraz would create 65 million meals for alligators. Now, you might think it's a joke, but they fed our babies to alligators, and they thought it was so funny that they put it on candy boxes, they put it on tobacco boxes, they put it on coffee cans, they put it on soap boxes. But the reason why black and brown people can't fight to win a future where we are truly liberated is because we are programmed. There are 4 walls that block in the minds of black and brown people, and we've been at this a whole lot longer than y'all, so let me tell you what they are. We've been programmed to worship white folks, to objectify women, to fear going to hell, and to value money over all else. Now, I'm talking to the black and the brown people because with white folks, half of them are racist and half of them are playing the wait and see game. It's not affecting them, so they're like, let's see how this goes. Worshiping white people means we'll always find a reason to justify what it is that they do. And so you have a white God, white Jesus, white angels, white saint. It puts the idea in your mind that white is right. But the thing is, there were no white people in the Bible, not one. And the Israel of today was created in 1948 by people who wanted to put themselves in the story. Now, objectifying women means you'll nullify their contribution, and mediocrity will always wear the mask of superiority. And so how can we have the best of the best operating on our behalf if we take half of the population, which is all the women, and say, you don't know anything, get over there? The next thing is we've been taught to fear hell, so we won't fight back because we think that there's some punishment that awaits us for doing so. And lastly, we've been taught to value money over all else. A lot of the people who support Trump do so because he has money, and they think, hey, he must be right because he was able to amass so much money. Now, if somehow we can break down even 2 of those programs, we will be able to fight and win this thing.
So Trump supporters are now saying that they don't want Donald Trump to just deport migrants to Alligator Alcatraz, but they want him to deport the entire Hispanic population to Alligator Alcatraz, even if they are U.S. citizens. So here is what Laura Loomer, a top MAGA influencer who often has the ears of the president, just posted on her account. Quote, "Alligator lives matter. The good news is alligators are guaranteed at least 65 million meals if we get started now." So guess how many Hispanics there are in the United States? That's right, 65 million. So what Laura Loomer is advocating for here is for Donald Trump to send the entire Hispanic population to be eaten alive by alligators at his internment camp. What are we doing here, guys? And how is it possible that he increased his voter share among Latinos in the 2024 election? That will never make sense to me, and this is crazy.
So my recruiter just called me from a travel nursing company that I work for and asked whether or not I wanted to take a position near Alligator Alcatraz because I guess they're really short on people in that area. And I said, excuse me, do you really think I would do something like that? Do you know how messed up you have to be to work at a concentration camp and profit off of people's suffering? Some people would literally sell their soul for a couple dollars, no questions asked. Now that's just straight evil wrapped up in a paycheck if you ask me. Now let me break it down for you. People out there, real people, are eating maggots. They're getting eaten alive by mosquitoes. They can't take a shower. There's no plumbing. These mosquitoes are the size of golf balls. There's no clean water. There's no humanity at this point. And you want me to risk my life going out there into the Everglades with pythons and alligators lurking around while human beings are being dehumanized just a few feet away from me? And here's the kicker. They're offering $25 an hour for nurses to work in that hellhole. $25. What the hell? You mean to tell me you're going to underpay me and ask me to co-sign on human suffering? Nah, we're not doing that. That's just a bad deal. That's a deal with the devil right there, actually. This ain't about money. It's about morals. It's about human rights. If you're taking a job out there, knowing what's going on, knowing how these people are being treated, you're not a caregiver. You are a collaborator in cruelty, first off. So no, I'm not stepping foot in no damn Alligator Alcatraz. I didn't become a nurse to be part of something evil. You got me all the way messed up if you think I'm about to do something stupid like that. Now that's just heartless in my opinion, where you're gonna go sell your soul for a couple